Hello, Malavika.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to Gulte Pro.
Thank you.
So, your dad's a cinematographer, mom's a writer and journalist, and you said that you grew up in a house uh, where there was a lot of space for art and culture, right? So, do you remember what was your introduction to cinema like, and what were some of your earliest film influences?
I grew up in Mumbai. Um, but both my parents moved from our hometown in Kerala. After their marriage, they moved to Mumbai. So it's a very Malayali household in terms of we speak the language at home, we eat Malayali food, we watch Malayalam movies. But I grew up in Mumbai. So I had the influence of Malayalam films. Grew up watching a lot of cult classics in Malayalam, a lot of Mohanlal, Mammootty, Satyanandika, Adoor Balakrishnan, all the classic filmmakers. And I grew up in a city like Mumbai. So I grew up with a lot of Bollywood influence, Bollywood pop culture around me. Tamil, for example, being where I started doing films before Telugu, my introduction to Tamil came a lot later in my life once I started working in Tamil.
That's with Peta.
That's with Peta, with Rajnikant sir, which was my debut.
But you must have been familiar with Tamil films, right? As a viewer.
Not a lot.
Okay.
But like the really good films, like all of Mani sir's movies and films that you end up hearing about and things like that. Because back then there was no OTT also, right? While you were growing up.
DVD
now
era
it's very
things,
easy to watch any good language. Like all viewers are now, everyone's into Malayalam films. That's like the current trend.
See, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. Like I watch Friends. Like it's a character trait.
It
was at least.
You're so true. It's bang on, because as a Malayali, I can see that it's become like a cool thing for people to say that, oh, you know what? Like, all other films are shit. Only Malayalam films are good. I'm like, see, I'm a Malayali and I agree there are very good Malayalam movies, but not all Malayalam movies are great.
Exactly.
And not all other movies are shit.
We get exposed to only the good ones.
The good ones.
Yeah.
Exactly. But to answer your question, I grew up under an influence when it comes to cinema. Malayalam, Hindi, Hollywood films, but also a lot of world cinema. Because my parents, especially my father, would watch a lot of, say, Wong Kar-wai, Akira Kurosawa. You name the filmmaker, Louis Buñuel, like everybody.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
how old were you when you watched Louis Buñuel?
I mean, it depends movie to movie, but I would say like Wong Kar-wai, who's one of my favorite. In the Mood for Love is one of my all-time favorite movies. That I watched when I think I was 19.
Okay.
At an age where I could understand the film. I think 19 or 20 or something like that. When I was also in college and did like a short cinema course and everything. But I love world cinema as well. Yeah.
Okay. No, did you want to pursue a career in visual arts? Like, did you want to become a cinematographer growing up? A photographer?
I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew what I didn't want to do.
What was that?
I didn't want to do anything related to science or commerce.
Okay.
So it's very clear that I don't have an aptitude for it. Especially anything to do with mathematics, physics. I don't think I've ever been very good at it.
Hard relate.
Yeah.
Math scares the shit out of me.
Oh, me too. Yeah. It's all just, I could never make sense of it. But I've always been inclined towards artistic things, artistic pursuits, writing. And apart from that, I was a lot into sports growing up.
Okay.
I was a lot into athletics.
Okay.
I was a sprinter when I was young. So since a very young age, my body is also trained into. So even now when people ask me, what do you do for fitness? Even if I don't work out a lot, I think that muscle memory is there in my body since a very young age.
Right.
Because it's been trained for very, very long. So sports and arts were my two loves. And I thought I think before I did my first movie, I was in college and I was figuring out, I thought, I love cinematography. I love photography. I love anything to do with the visual medium.
Yeah.
Like I don't react to sound as quickly. Like my brother, my younger brother, he's a musician.
Okay.
So for me, I'll be attracted to the visuals of something, and for him it'll be like the sound. He'll be like, oh, that's an interesting sound. And I didn't even hear that, but I saw what this looked like.
Right.
So I was pursuing that and sort of figuring out maybe I could do something behind the camera in terms of filmmaking. But then life took this different path.
Turn. But tell me something. I learned about you when I watched Beyond the Clouds for the first time. I think it was I watched it on Netflix in 2020. And after that, your career has been very interesting. It's not every day that.
It's been everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, but when you act in a Majidi film so early in your career, I think it was your fourth film, fifth film.
Yeah.
How does that change the way you look at filmmaking? Because the kind of filmmaking that you witnessed or you must have been a part of before that were quite different to the kind of filmmaking that Mr. Majidi is known for.
Right.
And after that also, the kind of films that you were a part of, that's very unique, right? So how does that experience change the way you look at filmmaking?
I would say that the exposure I had since a very young age kind of helped me. Say, for example, if I had grown up watching only world cinema, then maybe I can relate to a world, to a director like Majidi. But I might not be able to relate to like a very commercial Tamil or Telugu film. You don't know how to make sense of that, right? Because we make it in a very different way, because we make it for a certain audience. There's a certain structuring to that cinema which is not there when it comes to, say, a Majidi film.
Yeah.
But I feel like because I've been exposed to all kinds of it is why I could adapt to like each film. But it was wonderful working with an Oscar-nominated director at a very formative point in my career.
He's a legend.
He's a legend. Yeah. And I've grown up again on Children of Heaven, Baran, all of his movies, and Colors of Paradise.
Yeah.
So for me, it was very surreal that I got to do a movie with a director like that. I had a great time working with him. I learned a lot. I got to work with some fantastic actors. Ishan Khattar, it was his debut movie as well. Got to work with the best technical heads. So all in all, it was a fantastic experiment, and I feel like it really sort of like introduced me to the craft, taught me the craft in a very nice way. And in fact, Karthik Subbaraj, who was making Peta with Rajnikant sir at that point, he saw Beyond the Clouds and he really loved me in it. So that's why he called me for Peta, and he said also, he was like, Malavika, this is not a lead role because it's a Rajnikant film, so it's not a romantic pair, but it's an important role. So it's up to you if you, I know you're only doing lead roles, but if you, if you're up for it, I would really love to have you. And I was like, it's a Rajnikant film, and I really want to work with Rajni sir at one point, so I'll come do it. And I did that, and that's how my Tamil career started.
So neither of the filmmaking styles came as a cultural shock to you because you were exposed to.
Because I was exposed to it. Because I was exposed to it, it didn't come as a shock for me at all. Although it did take me time to learn the massy technical elements when it comes to our movies.
Like?
In South. For example, there are certain shots which are elevation shots. And you know that the director is going to do it in slow motion. You know this is going to get a certain kind of reaction in the theater because it's designed for that. And that's the fun of it. That's why we go for like first day, first show of certain movies that, that we think we'll enjoy watching as a group atmosphere, as a theatrical atmosphere. So when you're doing elevation shots, you do it with a certain swag. You do it with a certain style. You don't have to, you find a balance between being realistic to the character, but also bringing like that energy of that, that attitude,
coolness,
that
swag,
coolness. Like for example, in so these things I didn't know earlier.
Okay.
I would go do everything in a realistic manner because I was coming right off. Like I'd done a couple of Malayalam movies, realistic, Majidi, hyper realistic, and then I entered the world of mass cinema. And later when I saw it in theaters, I was like, oh, now I understand. Like this is the template. So I could have done the same thing with like a little more panache, like a little more style. So when, like in RajaSaab, there's an action sequence for me in the film as well. So when I was doing that, it was like I discussed Solomon Master, who's done all of Rajamouli sir's movies.
Triple R.
Yeah. Fantastic action director and such a lovely gem of a person. Favorite action director that I've worked with because I've done action in like all the movies like back to back that I'm doing right now. And we actually sat and we discussed and we were like, okay, let's do this elevation in this way, like people will really, like there'll be claps for this shot. So let's add this style, let's add this mannerism. So then you learn how to add that bit too, which is really fun as well as an actor.
Nice. What, if you had to describe the energy on the set of RajaSaab, how different would it be compared to like other big films that you were a part of? Like I'm purely talking about the vibe and energy on the set, not the scale or anything, because we have seen.
I always feel like the vibe on every set is different.
Yeah.
Purely because filmmaking is such a collaborative art form. It always comes down to the people you're working with. And that differs set to set. Like for instance, RajaSaab took a lot more time in general because we had a lot of VFX heavy shots. So sometimes you're imagining like whatever, a creature or a horror element like standing and shouting, and we're just looking at the empty green screen and like reacting and crying or shouting and things like that. So those kind of things would take a lot more time, and also like a lot more time to like figure out, okay, where are you looking? Or where are you looking? You know, so it's also very technical, right? Because you're imagining and it's a fantasy thing. So those kind of things have taken time, but otherwise it's been quite lovely.
When you started working on RajaSaab, did you expect it to take the time it took, or were you expecting it to be wrapped up much sooner?
I was expecting it to be wrapped up much sooner.
What was the timeline that you had in your mind? You started shooting for this in what, 23?
Oh, time as a concept is blur now. When did I start? We started, I think, in 23, but Prabhas sir was also finishing. He was also wrapping up Kalki. He was wrapping up
Salar.
like his Salar. So I think that's why there was a lot of wait and delays, and all are big budget movies, no? So but naturally there are logistical delays and things like that. So because of several reasons, you know, it's sort of, but when I came on board, we were supposed to finish in 1 year. But with big movies, you can't, there's too much happening, no? The film is bigger than, you know, it takes a life of its own. So it's very hard to predict.
I think Sidhu Janalgadda once told me this, that if you think you are making the film, you are just lying to yourself. You are not making the film. The film is just making itself, and you are just giving it what it needs.
True.
So when you say you had to imagine a lot while shooting RajaSaab, can you, like, do you remember one weird cue or anything? Like, there's nothing there, but you are expecting me to perform. Do you remember one funny or weird moment? Because it's everything was done in post, right?
So I'm an actor that obviously, like most actors, I feel like I perform a lot better when I have somebody reacting. You're reacting off somebody.
It's natural. Acting is reacting, right?
Acting is reacting, you know. So when it came to even like the scenes that were easy for me, I'll answer your question. But the scenes that were easy were like, for example, whenever Prabhas sir and me had any romantic scenes, that was easy because you're feeding off the chemistry. You know, it's a give and take, and you know, there's no elements to imagine. There's no fantasy elements. It's cute. It's, you know, there's a comfort. But on the contrary, like for example, there's a scene where my character is on this really large swimming pool, like a pool, and we shot in that for 3 days, and it's my solo sequence. And I'm in this really lovely chiffon sari, white chiffon sari.
I think we saw a glimpse of it in the
teaser, which is why I'm talking about it. I'm like, okay, it's safe zone. And I'm in the pool. And for 3 days, we've shot in that for 10 hours each. And the water was biting cold. And I had to imagine that a crocodile is attacking me. And I am cold, I'm uncomfortable, my skin has become like, you know, what that texture that happens after you've been in the water. My body is numb from the cold, I'm falling sick, and all that while I have to imagine like a crocodile is coming now it's close, now it's here, now it's there, now it's...
The making videos are going to look hilarious if they ever release those.
If they ever release
It's just going to be you walking around running in a pool imagining a crocodile.
Absolutely, and that water had all kinds of like unhygienic things you can imagine. It had chemicals, it had like everyone getting into it, it had mud, dust, paint, everything. So it was quite an experience.
In what way did RajaSaab challenge you? Or did you get to explore a new side of you in the film?
I feel like RajaSaab has explored a lot of, it's given me a canvas to showcase a lot of different facets of mine, a lot of different looks of mine. Like for example, I'm wearing these, Maruti sir keeps joking that he's like, Malavika, this movie is like a portfolio for you, you know. I'm showing you in like really cool, sexy Western clothes. I'm showing you in these beautiful, like sexy saris. You're looking beautiful, pretty. And there is romance, there's comedy, there's action. So it's like an all in all thing. So I've got to do a little bit of everything in this movie, which is fun. Because most big hero movies, the moment you're signing an A-list film, the bigger the hero gets, I feel the screen time of the lead actress keeps becoming less. I'm generalizing, but there are very few films which are on the contrary, which have like a very solid role nowadays for the heroine, despite having like a big hero.
Yeah.
So at a time like that, to get a role where there's a lot to do, that itself feels like
Nice.
quite a blessing.
Nice. So I wanted to ask you this actually, because it's such a big film. Do the lead actresses, are they in service just for these commercial factors, or does their purpose go beyond that? And I think your answer is kind of reassuring.
It does go beyond that, because so my character Bhairavi meets the hero's character because of a particular reason. It's not a love interest that Chumma comes, goes, and they meet because of something, and then it turns into something. Then they go on this one adventure, and they like the entire storyline evolves. But I think it's quite. I think the audience will decide. I think they'll answer.
How many days did you shoot for the film?
Again, time as a concept is very blurred right now, because this has been, we've been shooting for a while. But lot of days.
Compared to your previous films, higher.
Oh,
right?
maximum number of days I have shot for any movie. RajaSaab, hands down.
Did you see the film?
Not yet. Not yet, because I've been busy with promotions. So I haven't gotten time to go to the studio and see. But I'm excited to see first day, first show if I can. I want to see I'm excited to see. I have a few scenes I'm excited for myself.
Okay.
Apart from wanting to see the whole movie, of course. I want to see my introduction sequence, because we shot something that was really cool.
Nice.
And then I want to see this action sequence, because I think it's really cool for a girl to do action, and because it's like a role reversal. Prabhasa is looking and I am doing action.
Oh, nice.
Which I think is again pretty cool. Even for him to do a scene like that, not have any hang-ups or anything like that. I think it's pretty cool. So that I'm excited to see. So there are like a few key scenes I'm waiting to watch.
Have you ever experienced first day
In
first
Tamil,
shows in
yes,
Hyderabad?
because so far my movies have been
Yeah.
Tamil films. So I have experienced it in Tamil.
Hyderabad?
In Hyderabad, no. No,
You are in for
only
a
in
ride.
Chennai.
You are
My
in for a
first
ride.
Hyderabad
Yeah.
FDFS will happen now with RajaSaab.
You're gonna have
I
a blast.
believe you.
Yeah. No, because it's electric actually. The energy.
Yeah.
It's mad. Yeah.
I've got a small glimpse.
During the trailer launch.
I
or?
feel Telugu audience is the craziest, and I mean this in a good way.
Yeah.
Is like so crazy when it comes to cinema.
Absolutely.
And there are very few audiences which are as crazy as that. So you want to do films for an audience like that, because they shower you with so much of love, adoration, affection, and the theatre experience. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, wonderful. And you spoke about being destined to make your Telugu debut with RajaSaab, because you are supposed to be a part of Salar, but again, didn't happen. But it's happening with RajaSaab, much bigger film. But you were also supposed to do a Telugu film many years back.
Yes.
In 2019, it was with Vijay Deverakonda. Some reasons didn't go ahead. But was that a heartbreak back then, because you were at a different point in your career back then?
It wasn't a heartbreak, but I was very excited about it because it was a love story, and it was a very nice role for the girl. So I was excited to make my Telugu debut with a very good character. Maitri was producing the film. And the director was this man called Anand, who's been one of the writers for. So it was a good team. Vijay was a dear friend, so I was excited to debut with a good movie. Because offers have gotten a lot through the years, but I feel like I have been very choosy with what do I want to make my debut with, and I've had this dream that I want to make my Telugu debut with a big movie and with a good character. So yeah, I feel like destiny got me here. Salar I never signed. I was never on board for it. We were in final stages of talks, and it didn't materialize because of dates, etc. But Vijay Deverakonda film I had signed, and it was going to be my
Did you shoot for
Telugu
that?
debut. No, I didn't shoot.
Okay.
I didn't shoot for it at all. No,
But
it didn't convert because of some issues. I think Vijay, not issues. I think Vijay decided to do Liger that point instead of that. So because of that, it didn't happen at that point.
Okay, but life comes a full circle now.
Yeah,
right?
that's why I'm like, maybe I was destined to make my debut with this film, you know,
Hmm.
the Vijay Devarakonda film, and then Salar, and now, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So to people who are gonna watch RajaSaab on Jan 8th with the premieres, what's the promise?
I would say the promise I can give is that it's a film for everyone.
Hmm.
It's a film for children, for families, for youngsters, for everybody, because there's a little bit of everything.
Hmm.
There is romance, horror, comedy, songs, fun, emotion. So there's the core of the story is which is my favorite.
Hmm.
Is the emotional crux between Prabhas sir and his grandmother.
Yeah.
That is the driving emotion that is there through the entire story. And I really like that. I really connected with that. But I hope the audience loves it too, connects with it, and it'll be a Sankranti feast, hopefully.
Do you like horror films?
I'm very scared of horror films.
Do you enjoy watching them?
I do, but like I'll be inside the blanket and my eyes will be out. And every time I think a ghost is going to come, I'll go like this. So I'm one of those watchers.
Will RajaSaab be a scary film or?
It's a mixed bag.
Okay.
It's a mixed bag. It's got all kinds of horror. It's got fun horror. It's got a lot of comedy as well. There is enough for people to laugh laugh throughout the film. But then when it gets scary, it gets really scary too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, recommend me some of your favorite films.
Some of my favorite films across languages.
Across languages, world cinema. Go as niche as you want.
Yeah.
To go. Yeah.
Oh, okay. One of my I'll start with In the Mood for Love because I mentioned it previously. One of my all-time favorites and one of my all-time favorite filmmakers, Wong Kar-wai. In the Mood for Love, I love Cinema Paradiso. I love Parasite.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was. I can rewatch it anytime. A couple of my comfort movies. I really like Julie and Julia, starring Meryl Streep.
Right.
Very simple movie. It's on this life of Julia Child, who's a cook, and but it's my comfort watch. There's this movie starring Juliette Binoche called Chocolat.
Wow. Choco?
Chocolat. It's like chocolate, but French for chocolate. Chocolat.
Okay.
Set in like 1800s or 1900s, like old France. Very atmospheric film. Again, one of my comfort watches. And so many. Kumbalangi Nights.
Yeah, cool.
I thought it's one of the best films to come out in the last decade. I thought Lapata Ladies was quite nice.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about recent times.
Yeah.
And I love watching women filmmakers do cool stuff.
Yeah.
So Kiran Rao is a fantastic director. That I loved. The Worst Person in the World.
Oh, right.
It's a film that came out of
Great
Norway.
Film. Yeah, it's on movie, guys. It's on movie. Yeah.
Worst Person in the World.
Yeah.
This girl who's reaching her 30s and is having an identity crisis and, seeking for identity, love, everything. I thought that it really moved me. And I feel it was a film that I saw after very long that really managed to
move you, like touch you down.
Move you and woo me. Yeah. So
Great. Do you have a favorite Prabhas film? I don't want you to be diplomatic and say, I like all films. Do you have like a specific Prabhas film that...
My problem is I can't be diplomatic even if I try to.
Thank you.
And my friend keeps telling me, be a little diplomatic. But it's genuinely Bahubali. It's Bahubali, I'll tell you why. Because I didn't grow up watching a lot of Prabhas sir movies because I didn't know about Telugu cinema. Back then I wasn't exposed to it. And Bahubali came at that precipice when films from different regions started reaching us.
Yeah.
So one of the first impactful films that had a big impact on me and I loved as a theatrical experience was Bahubali. So for that reason, that's my favorite.
Perfect. With that, let's wrap the conversation. Thank you so much and all the very best for the release in a couple of days.
Yeah, thank you and such a fun conversation.
Likewise,
I genuinely, truly enjoyed this interview.
No, likewise.
So,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the best, Malavika.
Thank you.